Welcome, people of the World Wide Web, and welcome to episode 1 of Look What I'm Watching. Yes, this is kind of a take on Look Who's Talking. But yeah, this is Look What I'm Watching. So this is a recap of all the kind of stuff I've been watching over the past week or so. I'll try to do this for series and films and that what I've completed. But yeah, this is mainly Netflix. So if I see it in Netflix. This is for the UK, so Netflix UK, Prime, Disney. I will try and mention where they are from, and obviously there'll be little pictures of the series or TV show or movies, whatever. And then yeah, please do let me know in the comments below if you like what you're seeing, or if you want a bigger episode for me to explore or delve into certain series. So let's kick it off. So the first one, we go for a movie. I watched this at the weekend. This is called Brazen. This is from Netflix. Oh, hit quite here. Oh my god, what a... I never like to really talk bad about films, but oh my god, this is quite bad. So this is a premise, is a bit of a low budget. It's one of the girls from Charmed. I can never remember her name. She's a writer. She goes to see her sister. Conveniently, a police detective lives next door, and her sister gets killed. And this basically kind of story starts evolving, and you try and find out who the killer is. Now, it started off not too bad. I was quite interested. Reminded me a bit of Castle. You've got the writer who teams up with a detective. Butler is kind of a love interest there. And the bloke who played the police detective, I've not really come across him before. I quite liked him. I thought he was quite a good actor for the most part in this, but it just is bad. The first port of call, now maybe this is me, 5-10 minutes into it, I'm literally like, that's the killer, this is the reason why. Surprise, surprise, they were the killer, and I did get a reason right. Kind of takes the fun out of it. It's a bit bad acting, a bit bad story. Stuff didn't work that well. There was even some bits, and I try not to ruin too much of it, but when you have story, they try and mislead you and up with thriller stories, and specifically. So there's this one instance, the bad person in this attacks a woman, she slashes their arm, and then you think it's someone else, and then when they go to that person's house and go to arrest him, that person takes off their top, and they conveniently have a bandage or a plaster in the exact same position, and that isn't a killer. And I was just like, oh, what are the odds? There's stuff like this that is really bad. Like, it did have the premise to at least be something good, but I think it fails. So yeah, who am I to judge? You may watch the trailer of this, think it's good, and watch it. I thought the trailer was alright, give it a go, and I thought the film was rubbish. By the by, so yeah, that's Brazen. So that's on Netflix. So we'll move swiftly along to a really good series. This is also on Netflix. This is called Unbelievable. So the premise of this one is basically a young girl. She believes she has been raped. Some bloke breaks in, rapes her. She goes to the police, and due to a lot of not necessarily circumstances, but a lot of influences of her life and stuff, she kind of gets to a point, specifically with how the police are treating her and the reputation she has. People do not believe her, or like put a lot of doubt in her mind, and then she kind of doesn't know if it's happened because she doubts herself and doesn't want to get into trouble. This is loosely based on true events, and you find out a little bit more at the end, and also read up. There's only little bits that featured it, but yeah, it's a 8-part series starring Toni Collette as one of the police officers, and it was really, really good. Again, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it is, I say Toni Collette. I've watched quite a few bits with Toni Collette, and she's done quite a lot through Netflix of late, and I think she's really coming into a game for the crime, mystery, and sort of stuff. She's done a few of the ones, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but yeah, it's very interesting to not only see this one person's story, but then cops involved with a woman's similar story, and then that evolves, and there may be interconnections, there may not be, and all the here's buts, where's, whys, and hows and stuff. But I say it's very well done. It keeps you, engaged and very interested, and that's what I liked about it. So yeah, so I would very rate. So that's unbelievable. Again, best be watch a trailer if you like it. I would definitely recommend. So it's definitely worth a watch. And obviously 8 episodes, and they're about an hour long, 50 minutes. So it keeps you entertained. So yeah, so that's the second one. So series 3, you'd be like, oh my god, how much time does he have? He watches loads. So this is Keep Breathing. So the premise of this, a woman, she's trying to get on a flight to somewhere for some reason, you don't quite know where. She overhears these 2 people, they're travelling to the same area on a little private plane, and then due to, I would say, a little bit of lucky circumstances, she managed to get on this plane. This plane crash lands, and then all hell ensues. Yeah, it was okay for the most part. I don't want to give too much away. I'll give a little bit away. So spoiler alert here. If you are going to watch it, I probably will ruin the first episode for you here. So unfortunately, as you can hear, she has a nap during the flight, wakes up, plane's going down, has engine troubles, it crashes into the sea. The 2 people she's with, they both die for one reason or another. She is then stuck on next to a lake, what looks like, with literally nothing, and then it's her journey of trying to survive. Now, because the 2 people die, one of them that kind of connects a little bit with her is really good. They have this actor as kind of appearing as like a thought in her head and doubts and stuff, and that's really, I thought that was quite good. And the premise of it's what's going on. You soon find out a lot more about the 2 people there and why they were travelling and a few other bits, but then it just kind of devolves into a story about this woman and all the issues she's had through her life, and with her mum and with her dad, and then each kind of hurdle or issue she's had in the past kind of relates to where she actually is, or the issue she actually is, where she is stranded. It ends quite abruptly, and there are flashbacks and forth, and you're not quite sure if there's some stuff near the end that kind of foreshadows of what actually does happen after this story. And I say, it's from the trailer, it plays it that it's a mystery and she's trying to survive on it. Ends up being all about her life, her issues and stuff, and it, as I said, devolves into a very kind of different story. And to me, it was all right, but I preferred the more mystery side of it. I did enjoy some bits of it, but it's just very distracting of where it went from one premise and one story to all about her and her story. It was almost like they had taken a big story, taken one character out of that massive story, and then like a one section, say like 20 minutes in a film, and one character, taken them out and then made a series about them. Yeah, Keep Breathing, it was alright, worth a watch. People may enjoy it more than I do. I say the acting wasn't bad and stuff, and I was screaming, or not screaming, but I was shouting at the screen, why are you doing this and why are you not doing that? But not being in that situation, who knows? So yeah, Keep Breathing. Okay. 2 other ones ago. So we have Kaleidoscope. I only just finished this today. Obviously, as people who are aware or not aware, obviously this is on YouTube again. Not YouTube, sorry. This is on Netflix. The order of the first 8 episodes is always random, but the last episode is always the heist. So you can kind of watch it in any order, and I just let Netflix pick it. I didn't bother. Up to about 6 or 7, I was quite enjoying it. 8 episode was kind of the final episode timeline wise, and you learn a lot, and I was a little, it was a little all over the place. It had a very good premise. I liked most of the actors, and the characters all worked well, and there were some interesting bits here and there and everywhere, and I can see what they were doing. Like, each episode is standalone and is meant to be, and it did work like that. Like, each period you could watch it in more or less any order. I understand why they needed the heist to be the last episode, because there's bits in the heist that you don't find out in the other episodes. It kind of is a big reveal on certain bits. Yeah, again, don't want to give too much away, so I'll leave it there. So Kaleidoscope, I know it got rave reviews and it's in the top 10 for Netflix, and I thought it was alright. It's worth a watch. I wouldn't necessarily live up to feel that the hype is there. It is definitely worth a watch, but it isn't the best series in the world. I think it could be improved easily here, there, and so forth. So yeah, that's it. And then the last one, a little fan of where is he? Ichigo Bleach. So this is Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War. So I finished the first part of this. So this is on Disney, so this is not Netflix. The first 13 episodes are on there, and they are all now dubbed and subbed. So the first 7 or 8 were dubbed, and then they did the next section. I'm not quite sure why they chose to do that, but released them early. Obviously, if you like subtitles, that's fine. I watch it dubbed because I've got it all there, and that's just how I watched it. Very good. For a missing story of Bleach, it very much brings back a lot of the nostalgia. There are a lot of characters and a lot of filling out stuff and a lot of like question marks and stuff. It fills in, you know, there are some really good fights and some losses that you don't necessarily expect. The fact this is part 1 of 4 only spurs me on to love this series. One of the big things with Bleach that it failed with early on is that the fact that filler. So anybody who doesn't know this is you have a story. So say it was like Harry Potter. You have each of the books, and that's how it is, and that's how they plan it out. When, because obviously Bleach comes from a book or manga. So when they adapt that to an animation side of it, they're trying to catch up with these books. But unfortunately, say like Harry Potter, if you got to book 6 and movie 6 at the same time, but you still had 2 years before the next movie's gone out, they do what's called filler. And then this is basically stories that they make up. It doesn't really impact, and that's what Bleach had. But they kept doing it every like 5 episodes. So you get 5 episodes of the proper story, and then a filler for like 20. And this is the thing, you just want to cut all that out. The art style, voice work and everything is amazing. You know, part 1, I can't wait for part 2. Hopefully it comes this year, and then obviously I've got to wait for 3 and 4. But yeah, so that's everything. So this has been Look What I'm Watching. Hope you enjoyed my reviews, and hopefully it will spur you on to have a look at these. I'm not sponsored by anybody, I'm not sponsored by Netflix definitely for this, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And then I'll see you next week for episode 2 and see what I've been watching then. Cypher Sigma signing out.